You reminded me of a couple of points that I like to make. One is there's a certain amount of required content that you're talking about of you need to post a blog. If you haven't posted one in 3 years, people are going to think you're out of business. You got
Yep.
to have a post on LinkedIn, be connecting. You need a certain amount of momentum and just required content, which I think is great to have AI help you with and be
Sure.
more reliable and consistent
Yep.
with. But there's also marketing content that's the inspired content. It's that, like you said, a creative event or an angle or a strategic partnership or something that can really make a difference in your business that you can't outsource that stuff to AI with. Maybe it
Right.
can help you brainstorm or you can collaborate
Yep.
with AI. You can't outsource your success. You can't outsource trust and human relations
Right.
and communication back and forth with an AI at this point. So I think that's a big difference that people need to separate out in their heads.
Yeah, we run for ourselves and for the clients that we represent. We do a lot of webinar events. In fact, had one today, earlier today, and that's a very human experience. It's a measuring tool, right? It's designed to, if you're nurturing, but one of the things we really concentrate on is building a very targeted email list for our clients. We find a lot more value in that marketing asset versus a social marketing asset. Different value, but the email tends to convert better. And a webinar is a perfect example. If we've got a database of, say, 5,000 people that we're nurturing for an advisor client of ours, the webinar is about identifying who's paying attention. It's about educating and transforming the brand and all that.
Right.
If we can get out of those 5,000 people, 75 registrations and 35 people to show up, that's where the advisor now knows that the human element takes over.
Yeah.
So we can do a lot of automation and we can use some AI in that nurture sequence to keep the brand present and those sorts of things. The webinar itself is where that's the measuring tool. All right, here's the 35 people that showed up, and maybe the 75 that signed up. This is where we have to have a human relationship. So that's the jumping off point to humanizing the relationship.
Yeah, so there's a bunch there to unpack too, because the other thing is that like AI is fast and it can cover a wide range of stuff, like much more data points than a human could.
Sure.
But trust in human relationships is a slow process, which is some ways better for a human because we can go slow. We're not trying to speed it up. We can rush and be on the same page as our prospects or clients.
Yep.
But also, it's bad because we lose track of things over time. You mentioned nurture sequences or things like using AI for predictive analytics and lead scoring to say, oh, hey, you didn't see it, but this person visited your website 10 times this
Right.
week.
Yep.
Let's surface that to the salesperson and say, hey, here's something that you should know that no human would ever know that without marketing automation and
Right.
intelligence running in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. A good CRM is probably the most important sales tool you've got. Right. We do.
Yeah.
And we're a reseller of Go High Level, which we like a lot.
Nice.
The price point on it is great for our clients. Our clients separate out their client database as very private information. And when their prospect database, if you're running ads and you're doing some cold email strategy and you're running a little bit of automation on LinkedIn or something along those lines, you're making a very muddy prospect database. So we use Go High Level for the most part for that prospecting piece. I love they've got a great, visual opportunities funnel, which we can automate a
Mm.
lot of. So if someone is responding to your emails or opening your emails consistently or hitting your website, we can actually move them down a funnel so
Yeah.
that you can, as you log in and look at one screen and know who the quality contacts are there. For many of our clients and for our business also, now referrals tend to move pretty fast, right? Because that trust is already there.
Yep.
I'll talk a little bit about, you were talking about joint webinars or, partnering with others.
Yeah.
We'll
Partnerships.
talk
Yeah.
about that too from a trust factor, but the referrals tend to move pretty quickly. But for our clients and for ourselves, man, I'll get somebody who was not by referral that becomes a client of ours. And I'll look back and they've been in the CRM for 3, 4, 5 years sometimes, right? Where I can look at all the emails they've opened and it has taken a lot of time to build that trust. So it's important that you're talking to a lot of people on the front end because they're all going to move at a different pace.